Hello again and welcome to Mordian Mondays, episode number 12. For those of you that are new to this series of videos, Mordian Mondays is where I document the progress of my Great Mordian Restoration project, which is my attempt to completely restore, rebuild my pure infantry Mordian army, the Mordian 50th Rifles. They are the army that this channel is named after, the army that featured in all my early battle reports, but they are in a sorry state. They have been all over the country to many tournaments. They were painted very, and as a result, the extremely bad paint job has chipped off and got even worse. And so what I am attempting to do is to completely repaint my pure infantry army, all my Mordians, and then the tanks as well. And it's a bit of a hobby channel, bit of a hobby series, bit of a fluff series. But there's also some tactics in there. It's a bit of a whole host of things. And what people have said is, as I've documented my progress, they've also been painting along to it as well. And the people have found it quite motivating. So it's good. We're all sort of working together to get our Imperial Guard armies painted up so that we can crush the enemies of the Emperor. So what have I been working on this week? So, as you can probably see, I finished my converted Mordian Ogres. Now, these guys have been featured prominently in the last two videos. This is the third video on them. So they are finished now. So we'll be moving on to pastures new and going for some different units afterwards, because I know some people are probably sick of hearing about the Ogres now. But I'll go over one more time how I converted them. So these are Age of Sigma Ogres. They are the basic Gutbuster Ogres models. And very simple conversion. I cut off the hands that hold the close combat weapons and put the Ripper gun on from the normal Ogrin kit. This kind of relies on the fact that you can get spare Ripper guns very cheaply for less than £1 per Ripper gun, and also if anyone who's built loads of Bullgrins will have, a lot of people own a Bullgrin star, you'll have about 12 Ripper guns left over because you get 4 per box of Bullgrins / Ogrins. Even if you don't have those models, those bits lying around, it's still cheaper to do it this way because you can get a box of Ogres from any decent third-party retailer for about £20, and then each one of the Ripper guns are about £1 each. So that's £26, and you get 6 converted Ogrins for £26 versus 3 for £35 from Games Workshop. So this is a very cost-effective way of getting your Ogrins onto the battlefield. Ogrins are great tactically. They are a flexible unit. And they are very cheap. Those of you who I'm sure will ask, the caps are made out of green stuff. Normal Ogres don't come with those caps. I made them out of green stuff. It's very simple. It's 3 bits of green stuff. One, you get a bit. I'll tell you how to do it now again quickly. You get to make the cap, the actual peak. Get a little bit of green stuff, squash it between thumb and forefinger. Put that on the forehead of the ogre. To make the brim, get a bit of green stuff, roll it between your fingers until it becomes like a little sausage. Join end to end to make a little donut. Pop that on top of the head, and then to make the main part of the cap, the top bit. Again, similar process to making the little cap. Get a big bit of green stuff. Squash it between thumb and forefinger. Peel it off. As you peel it off, it'll make a little curve. You put that on top of the donut, and you've got a cap. 3 parts. Very easy. Skulls are just the skulls are from the Scion kit, but you can use any skulls to be honest. They're from the Scion kit. They're from the tassels that come with the regimental standard. The Aquila on the belly plates is also from the tassels for the Scion regimental standard, and the shoulder pads and the various equipment hanging off the belts is directly from the Ogrin kit as well. But you could use anything there. Now, I know some of you will be saying, why do those Ogrins have jerry cans on their back? Like why which are like they look like fuel cans? Well, how I see it is they're not jerry cans. They're actually water. They're actually, you know, like water canteens. But Ogres, you can't give them a normal water canteen. That's like they'll drink that in one gulp. So the guard they've got some spare jerry cans. They don't even clean them out that well. Ogres like the taste of promethium mixed in with the water, nice and burny. So they just give them a jerry can, swill it out with a bit of water, put some water in there and give it to the Ogres. The Ogres will drink from that happily. So that's actually, like a lot of guard models have got water canteens, these are my Ogres water canteens, water jerry cans. Yeah, overall, I tell you what, these models did take a little while to paint. They were really good, but they took me 2 weeks to do, and I thought I would get them done in a week. The reason I think they take a little bit longer is because each guy is about 3 times the size of a guardsman, and they're actually kind of fiddly to paint. If I was to do this again, I would build the Ogres. I'd build the Ogres, but leave the arms off, and paint the arm, and then paint the arms separately, and then put them on the model. I'd build the rest of it, but the arms do make it really difficult to paint the rest of the model. A lot of the size of the model, a little bit fiddly. I was a little concerned about washes, like especially the skin tones on big models, but I think it turned out okay. They are quite large recesses, but overall I think it worked out absolutely fine. On some of the pictures, it might look like the bases are wet. That was because when I took the pictures, I'd literally just finished basing. I was just excited. I wanted to get the pictures up. So it is wet base material. That has dried out now. For those of you that want to know what my basing is, it's very simple. It's just the technical paint Agrel and Earth. What I do is I actually paint the whole base brown, because what I found is if you put Agrel and Earth directly onto like a black base coated base or a white base coated base or any kind of base coated base, when it cracks, it really shows through that colour underneath, and it looks weird when I base coat my models green because of the green of the Mordians, and I found that it was really weird, like looking like green cracked underneath. So what I do now is I base coat it brown, and then, which only takes a short time, then slap Agrel and Earth over the top, and then I wash the Agrel. Once it's dried, I wash the Agrel and Earth in Seraph and Sepia, because that adds a bit more, that pools and makes little like brown pools and stuff. Someone did ask me, am I going to be doing anything extra with the basing? The answer is yes, I will be. At the moment, I'm very much focused on getting the actual paint of the models, on getting the models painted. I'm very focused on getting a good tabletop standard army out there. So what I'm doing is the basing scheme is quite simple. I'm definitely going to go back and add little bits of equipment, add some skulls, discarded like canteens, and maybe some like dead Xenos parts, maybe some little rocks and stuff. I'm definitely going to add a little bit to the bases, but for now they're fine. They'll do for now. They're tabletop legal for a tournament. Won't lose any painting score. So there you go. I know I mentioned this last week, but I think it's very prevalent because obviously to mention it because the Ogres, like I said, definitely bring out skin tones. On the black Ogres, on the darker skin toned ones, it's very simple paint scheme. Someone said to me they've been trying to use like purple washes and stuff. I don't know about that. I tend to find less is more, and so what I just use is a couple of thin layers of Gorthor Brown. It's a layer paint by Games Workshop, and then I simply wash that in Norn oil. I find that works really, really, really well. So there you go, guys. That's the Ogres. I won't talk about them anymore, but that's them definitely covered to death. I do have plans in my 2,000 point pure infantry army. I do have plans to run 12 Ogres, 2 squads of 6, but I'm going to come back later and do the other 6. Simply because I need a little bit of a break from doing Ogres. They did burn me out a little bit, but nothing too bad. I'm kind of doing each platoon at a time. and each platoon has 6 infantry squads and some support elements. So we're actually almost at the end of the first platoon, guys. Amazingly, we're almost at the end of the first platoon. It's a mixed platoon at the moment. So for those of you who are following my tactics and my list over the last few weeks, the current plan with the Mordian infantry rifles is to have 2 assault platoons and 1 kind of engorged fire support platoon. And what I use for each platoon is I take a battalion detachment. So platoon is in air quotes, inverted commas. It's to hark back to the days of like 6th, 7th edition, and all the editions before 8th, when Guard used to get like mini detachment called platoons. Don't worry if you started in 8th and you don't get what I'm talking about. It's just for fluff purposes, the platoon at this point. Okay, don't go looking through your codex looking for the platoon detachment. It doesn't exist. I only mentioned that because again I had a couple of commenters saying what the heck, what's a platoon? It's a reference back to editions gone by. Essentially, by platoon, what I mean is battalion detachment. Okay, so I'm going to have 2 assault battalion detachments, 1 fire support detachment. But at the moment, I've got a mixed. The way I've painted the models I've painted so far, it's a mixed attachment. So I've got 3 assault squads, which are where I don't take a heavy weapon. I put a power sword on the sergeant, and I take just a special weapon in the squad, either a flamer or a melter gun. And I've got 3 fire support sections, which is where I typically take, sergeant's just got a las pistol and chain tool to keep them nice and cheap. And I've got a grenade launcher in each one of those squads, and then I've got 2 missile launchers and a las cannon. So my overall infantry for my first platoon is a flamer power sword squad, a melter power sword squad, another flamer power sword squad. So that's 2 flamer power swords, 1 melter power sword squads, and then I've got 2 missile launcher grenade launcher squads and 1 las cannon grenade launcher squad. And then that's my line infantry, and then have my veterans. These veterans were kindly donated to me by an awesome subscriber who actually sent me some converted veterans made with some Victoria Mitch parts that look absolutely amazing. I love them. And they've got 3 plasma guns, and the sergeant's got a plasma pistol and power sword. And then I've got a command squad with grenade launcher and heavy bolter. And then I've got a whole bunch of characters painted up, but the ones that I'm using for this platoon is junior officer with power fist and las pistol, senior officer, company commander I should say, with a bolter, a Minotaur priest with a chainsword and las pistol, and a Lord Commissar with plasma pistol and power fist. And that is that, plus I've got my Ogrins, and that is almost 750 points. That's right, guys. 60 infantry, 10 veterans, or 14 if you include 14 veterans including the command squad, and 4 characters and 6 Ogrins. Doesn't even come to 750 points in the guard. I actually have to take a squad of mortars, which I am taking a squad of mortars, and they are 33 points, and that gets me up to exactly 750 points. So the reason I'm aiming for 750 points at the moment is, those of you that follow my channel will know one of my regular opponents is Johnny. He's got his own channel called Scholar Progenium, and he likes to host with his sort of his Warhammer group, which is sort of my Warhammer group, but it's mostly his Warhammer group. Little 750 point tournaments. They're only like 5-6 friends, Sunday day, beer and pretzels, quick fire round tournaments, but they like to do 750 points. And Johnny likes to use his Dark Elder, and there's some guys who like his Death Guard and so on. Some guys remember I just haven't met him and talked to him in a while, but Sam, who did a couple of battle reports with his knights, not knights as in actual stompy knights, like his Spades Marines, which are all painted up in like silver awesome armor, like Bretonians in space. He's he's often there with his either Mechanicus or his Space Marines. So I was like, I haven't attended the last sort of 2 or 3 of these because I've been wanting to get my Mordians all painted up, and I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there, so I can't wait to turn up on the field of battle, and like at 750 points, I'm rocking a cool, like, 84 models at 750 points. 6 of those models are Ogres. But I could run way more. You know, instead of those Ogres, I could take another, 3 infantry squads with some upgrades. At 750 points. If I move some points around, I'm turning up with 100 guys and 2 battalions, 750 points, which is pretty nuts, to be honest. Infantry guard is pretty nuts. You get so much, but I think we're going to need it because, the new Marine Codex is coming out, and it's powerful, guys. It's real powerful. I'm not going to go into too much here, because I know there's plans for me and Johnny to do like a collab video on that, like we did with the tournament review from Caledonian Revolution, where there's 2 of us on the video, and I know Johnny is. I have my Black Templars, but Johnny is a Blood Angel / Marine player through and through, and he's obviously got an interesting perspective on that. So I don't want to talk about too much about the Space Marine Codex just now, but it's really, really powerful, guys, and there's a lot of horde clearing potential in there. So I definitely think if pure infantry, if I'm going, I'm going to need every man I can get. I'm going to need every single man I can get. There's potential. I think there's going to be some. I think Marines are going to be really hardcore now. I think Marines are going to be real fucking gnarly to face. In the past, in the past, I never used to fear facing Marines. Never used to fear it. Even Marines were a good codex in the right hand, and those of you who've watched the channel plenty, Johnny's used his Blood Angels all through 8th, and we're pretty much 1 for 1, in terms of ratio, blow for blow, and who's won and who's lost those battles. So in the right hands, Marines could do some serious work. Now I think Marines are, they're going to be the one to beat. I think Marines will be the top mono-faction codex. I really do think that. But we're going to get into that into a lot. We're not going to talk about why I think that now. There's going to be a lot of chance to discuss that later when the codex fully drops and everything. So just before we move on to like some of the fluff of the regiment or whatever, because I've been developing the fluff over the last few weeks, just looking at what's next on the painting workshop, what you guys got to look forward to. So I'm going. I want to have some fire support elements. I want to finish off the first platoon, and in that platoon there's a heavy weapon squad, and I want to take mortars in my army. Now, I know mortars are really good. They're best when used with Cadians, but mortars are really good. But my army's always had a strong affinity with mortars. I used to use like 4 squads of them back in 6th and 7th edition. And every command squad used to have the mortar as well. I had a lot of mortars. But the thing is, over the years, I don't know what's happened. Over the years, my mortar teams have got absolutely battered. Like I was amazed. I don't think I had enough to put 2 squads of mortars together, of actual fixed mortars. Considering I used to run like 15 mortars or more, like so many were broken or lost, or like just. I think I'd lent some to a friend for a tournament, and I'm not sure I got them all back, or if I did, they came back like a bit battered. Not bothered by that at all because I wasn't using them, but it's a shame that I haven't been using mortars because I used to absolutely love them. So now I'm bringing them back into my army, and it's just good. It's good that they're good in 8th edition, but I've kind of missed out on using mortars for 2 years of 8th edition already, which sucks, because mortars are cool. But yeah, I'm going to put a big effort into restoring. 2 teams of mortars is what I'm going for initially, because I really need to get 1 painted up to complete the platoon, but I'm doing the painting competition on the Bolts of Chainsaw, the ETL, and I didn't want to do just a 33-point vow. I wanted to do, because that would have let the Imperial Guard side down. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go and check out Bolts and Chainsaw forum. They do lots of painting competitions and challenges and stuff on there. I found it very motivating. But you get put to teams and for this event, and I'm obviously going to join the Imperial Guard team. And your team score is affected by like the average size of the vow. So if I went and did like a 33-point vow, it brings the whole average down. So I didn't want to do that. And a 100-point vow is what I did, which is still pretty low. A lot of people will do like 500 points plus. But because I'm doing a pure infantry army, that's actually really difficult for me to do a 500-point vow. So what I did is I did a 100-point vow, and I'm restoring 2 mortar squads and a Lord Commissar with a bolter and power sword. It's the classic old like 3rd edition Lord Commissar who's got the sunglasses on. Looks absolutely beastie. I'll get a picture of him. Well, hopefully he'll be painted up by the end of next week. Now the reason I'm painting that is because even though I like my Commissars to have power fists and plasma pistols, I like that because Lord Commissars have got good weapon skill, good ballistic skill. I do also recognise the fact that at like low points games, I don't really want to be shelling out lots of points on expensive equipment. I might just want to have a Lord Commissar as the cheapest Lord Commissar I can get to like fill out a detachment potentially, like just good old Bolton Power Sword Lord Commissar. So that's what I've gone for. It's an old classic metal model as well, so there you go. Also fits in a little bit with the regiment fluff, because obviously we spent a couple of weeks looking at the Ogrins, which were definitely under the purview of the ecclesiarchy and the political war that's going on behind the scenes of the Mordian 50 rifles. And I thought now it's time to swing things back towards the Commissar side of the regiment. And so I'm getting another Lord Commissar painted up. But in terms of the mortar teams, I've got a classic metal Mordian mortar squad. So that's all of them with the classic 6 guys, 3 of the guys holding the big mortars, 3 of the guys with the button for the mortars. And they will be loading the classic metal mortars, which are much bigger than much chunkier than the current mortars. You guys will get to see those painted up next week. And then what I also have is I have 3 mortars which I am restoring. Now, early on in my attempts to strip models for the Great Mordian Restoration Project, I made a couple of mistakes when it came to stripping models, and as a result, there's more than 6. It's about a couple of dozen, maybe 18, maybe not quite 24, but there's a significant amount of guys which, when I stripped the paint off, oh boy, did I make a bad job of it. And I kind of I don't want to throw riflemen away. Like, that would be such a waste just to throw away like 18 guys. I can't sell them. They're in pretty shite condition. So I thought what I'll do is, these mortars are typically going to be like hidden out of line of sight. So what I'll do is I will use these guys where the paint stripping process didn't go super well, and I will use them as my mortar team crew. So that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully they'll scrub up quite nicely. But if they don't, then so be it. There's not much I can do about it. But I don't want to waste. To me, like 18 infantry isn't like a big deal because I've got like 400 of them. But you've got to put it in perspective. Like, imagine just throwing away. It's like throwing away 40 quid's worth of models under current GW prices. You just wouldn't do it. It'd just be stupid. So I'm going to make sure that everyone, and it's a restoration project. If I come across some like gnarly guardsmen, I can't just like chucking them. it's a restoration project. Everyone's getting restored to the best that I can do. And if a few of them come out a bit rougher than others, then so be it. But at least they'll look damn sight better than they did under my, under the old paint scheme. Bad by the new paint scheme standards, is still fucking great by the old paint scheme standards. So there you go. So hopefully I'll get 2 mortar teams done. Our Lord Commissar done by next week. That's the plan. One way or another, that's the plan. And then there'll be 2 weeks left of the ETL, which has been my main motivator for getting things painted. And I'm not sure what I'm going to paint for those next 2 weeks. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure. Might get some characters done. Might get like a squad, because I always need to be painting. I always need to be painting infantry models. So I might paint like a squad and some characters, because I've got so many characters. I bought more priests. I have, for this army now, I must have like 10 priests. I'm not even kidding. I've got the one that I painted. I've got the one that's in the sprue still, the metal one. That's 2. I've got the big fat one from Blackstone Fortress. I've got the really old school Sigma priest with the hammer from Warhammer Fantasy, which is a model that I always wanted and never got around to buying, and I finally got him. I went on eBay and got him. So that's 4. And then I've got the one that Johnny bought me for Christmas, which is base coated but not painted yet. That's 5. Then I've got the old 3 that I used to use in the original Mordians, but they look like crap. But I've got those 3, so I've got 8 priests at least. So pretty crazy. I think I now own every Commissar model as well, bar the original like Rogue Trader one with the guy, who's holding up the book with like the las rifle. I think I finally tracked down every Commissar model. I hope so, because it cost me a fucking lot of money. A couple of those. Oh no, there's one that still eludes me. I do not have Commissar Gaunt from the Tanith First. That is the only Commissar that eludes me. I even have the bloody woman one coming along. What's she called? Severin Rain. That one. I've even got that one coming along, which is an absolutely fantastic model. Absolutely, Don't people think Mordian Glory is a misogynist, you bloody woman. No, I didn't mean that one. Didn't mean it like that at all. I meant, absolutely. It's an absolutely fantastic model. I'm really looking. It's interesting because she's the only Commissar. I didn't realise this until I was looking at the pictures a bit more closely. She's on like a massive base. I think she's on like a Terminator-sized base, which is pretty crazy. I'm probably going to base her to be on a normal size base, 25mm, simply because everyone else is on a 25mm base, and I'm probably not going to use her for her special rules, because sadly, her special rules aren't very good. But she'll still be cool as a bolt pistol power sword Commissar. Yeah. I think I've got Inquisitor Eisenhorn coming as well. Amazingly, I thought he'd just be cool. I've loved the Eisenhorn books. I must have read them, all of them, half a dozen times each. So there we go. So tactics wise, I've been last week we talked about the potential to have stormtroopers in the army. I'm definitely into that idea. I'm definitely going to get a large stormtrooper contingent painted up. I am thinking, with the way the new Space Marine Codex works and everything, it's going to be tricky to be like assaulting people. I do want to do bayonet charges and everything. I'm just wondering, would it be best to, I don't know what you guys think, but I always, and I mean always, had a tradition of my infantry squads being quite heavily decked out. Like every infantry squad got a special weapon and a heavy weapon, at least every infantry squad. And now, and I feel like, I should still be doing that. I feel like every infantry squad in my army should have, because if I'm not doing that's like weapon slots which are being missed. And new space marines are definitely going to be wanting to be, closing the gap and getting into those short range firefights and assaults. And I feel like I need maximum heavy weaponry in order to really punish any marine players that I come across. I can't be relying on like mass lasguns too much, especially if I'm not using ash paths anymore to remove cover, because dirty psychers. I don't know. It's just something to be aware of. I do feel like I'm going to need to be able to sling some serious firepower downrange. Definitely think that's what I need to be thinking about. And what I was thinking, this is crazy, but what if I just go nuts with Voxcasters? Okay. And what if I just put Voxcasters on like every unit that can take them? Like, it's not that many points. It'll be like 18 infantry squads and 3 squads of veterans. So what, like 21 Voxcasters? It's like 105 points. So 105 points if I go all in. Thinking about it. If I go all in, it'll be 105 points. And it would just mean that I wouldn't have to worry about officers and orders. Like that's kind of like, that's what I'm thinking. In an all infantry army, Voxcasters might actually be the key. Might actually be quite tasty. Really would add an extra layer of flexibility to the army. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'd like to get your guys' opinions on that one. I have all the Voxcaster bits, and even if I maybe put them on some of the squads, but assuming some are just going to die, not worry about those ones, maybe. But I feel like it's a 5-point upgrade, and it does add quite a bit of depth, tactical depth. It means I can order things to move all over the place. How much? That's really good. It means if in a clutch moment I need an order and I can't quite get my officer to move over there and then issue a second order to the squad, I can just Voxcaster it. Job done. Easy. So I am heavily considering Voxcasters from a tactical perspective. And from a tactical perspective, that's what I'm definitely thinking. Because unlike Cadian mortars, who kind of have an officer which babysits them, my mortars won't need that, because they're just going to sit there and shoot. I'm not going to waste 3 orders on 3 squads of mortars to tell them to reroll 1s. That's 3 times I could do first rank fire, second rank fire on infantry squads, and that's a big thing that I'm looking at now. That's how I'm seeing it now with my Mordians. My Mordians are every order I issue should be first rank fire, second rank fire, no questions asked. Every order, every turn, until it just becomes unviable. But I should be thinking like, I can get 3 senior commanders, that's 6 orders. I can get 3 junior commanders, so that's another 3 orders, that's 9 orders. I can use inspired tactics, that's 10 orders. I can take the Master of Command Warlord trait, and that's 11 orders, and that's pretty much as many orders as I can get. That's as many orders as I can get. But I can run like 3 company commanders, 3 junior commanders, and like put an order on a Lord Commissar. I'm thinking, so that's like 11 orders, so that's not enough to go around, because I've got 18 infantry squads and 3 veteran squads and 3 heavy weapon teams. It's not really enough to go around. So that'll be interesting, but I will take casualties quickly. I only have to lose 7 squads, which I can do in like 2 turns, and then I'll have too many orders to know what to do with. I am definitely thinking about taking Yarrick, even though he's not a, Mordian character. He does give everyone reroll 1s around him, and he is beast as a warlord. You know, he doesn't die, and he's quite combaty, and it's like, you know, I could just sit him in a blob with like 60 dudes advancing up the field, and they're all going to get reroll 1. So that's pretty tasty. Yarrick is like a bubble of take aim, and that when leveraged could mean a lot of extra orders. The other alternative is my Mordians are a mixture of Cadians and Mordians. That's the regiment fluff. You know, the regiment fluff is many regiments have been mashed together, and the Mordian, but the base, the core, a bit like the Tanith, but the base of the core of the regiment is, you know, Mordian Iron Guard. So I can sort of on occasion be like, I've got a Cadian detachment in here, but I'm trying to avoid to do that. I don't want this to be Mordian Cadian glory. I want this to be Mordian glory. So I'm really trying to just go die hard, go Mordian Iron Guard, and just win or lose, just use my regiment. Because the thing is, Cadians get access to so many extra orders. You get Creed, who can issue 3 more, and then Kel can issue another. Can help you issue another one. So you've got an extra 4 orders there alone. So you're up to like 15 orders. And then you've got the Warlord trait Superior Tactical Training, which starts letting you get loads more orders off. So Caden's got access to a lot of orders. And Katachan aren't too far behind them with Strachan, who can issue 2 orders. No, Katachans are pretty good. So there you go, guys. What do you think of the Ogrins? What do you think about, you know, Mortars coming next? And what do you think, especially about Voxcasters? You know, do you think I should to start spamming them, or in your experience, are they just not worth it? I mean, I think they could potentially be very, very worth it. I might have to save some points elsewhere, but they could be very, very worth it. On a side note, I think I have something crazy like 20 melter guns in my army now. So there's a distinct possibility that I am going to equip every single Mordian infantry squad with a melter gun, because that is historically what my army has always used as its special weapon. If you guys remember those old 7th edition tactics, the Mordian melter hedge, bringing them back, baby, bringing them back. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a bit of a long one, bit of a rambly one. I'm a little bit tired, so I'm not quite as focused. But hey, that's Mordian Mondays. Big thing I want to, of course, say is please share your hobby progress down in the comment section. I've been absolutely loving people keeping me up to date with their projects. I've been finding people who've been sending in follow-up pictures into my Facebook page. Absolutely great. Yeah, so absolutely make sure you put your hobby progress down there. Let me know your opinion on the Voxcasters. Let me know how you think the Ogrins turned out. And after the Mortars, you know, let me know what you'd like me to paint up. Would you like me to paint up another like couple of Mordian infantry squads with melter guns, maybe some priests, command squad, some officers? Let me know what you're thinking. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking. Fluff wise, I think that for a little bit, you know, we're going to be focusing on the regiment fluff. So looking at more like, you know, less on the commissar, a little bit on the commissars, but mostly like painting up actual Mordian military units. But you guys let me know what you think, and if you've had any cool ideas fluff-wise about this political feud between the commissars and the ecclesiarchy, let me know. Maybe the Inquisition should get involved. I did just order an Eisenhower model. Maybe the Inquisition's got its hand in play here. Who knows? Thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.